Hey guys, happy holidays, and just wanted to do my reaction video for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Season 5, Episode 5, Rewind. So, I guess this is going to be a more character-focused flashback of sorts. Lack of better terms, this episode is going to focus on what happened with Fitz between the events of the end of Season 4 and how he got to the future. In last week's episode, so like I said, so it'll be cool, and it was basically just from watching the trailer was shown that Lance Hunter was going to be coming back, and there were going to be a few other returning characters, and so everything was going to take place in modern day basically, and it'll be a nice change of pace, and as much as I like the whole, taking place in the future and, the storyline this plays into, it'll be nice to, I kind of miss this kind of taking place in present day and kind of having this, I don't know, I guess you could say kind of like more of like an X-Files feel to it, with previous seasons, and so it'll be interesting to, get back to that a little bit, for at least for this episode, and having, returning characters and, seeing what Fitz has been up to, because I feel like a Boyd's been missing since he's been gone. He's probably one of the most relatable characters on the show, so now we get to see, what he's been up to and how everything's going to play out, and, what he's going to do to save the rest of the team.
In 6 months, you haven't brought us a single plausible theory.
I know. And I have been racking my brains. But I think...
No more thinking. You're out of time. We want an answer.
Okay. I have one. I know what happened.
By all means, enlighten us.
They were abducted by aliens.
All right, that's it. We're done with you. No more books, no more television. You've wasted our time. You're gonna grow old and die alone in that cell. What? Here? How?
Hey, you can't go in there without authorization.
Your attorney is here.
Get those cuffs off my client and get the hell out of here.
A ball-busted hooligan.
And how many copies do you think are available in Bangladesh? None, as in zero. Since I heard you were missing, I got hold of some. Where did you get off on calling Liverpool a bunch of wankers?
Well, if you never win anything, then...
Well, at least we're not trying to buy our way back to glory.
Hey, do not talk crap about Man U.
Me talking crap? Your letters were nothing but crap. All that stuff about the... How many European Cups have you won?
Well, got your attention, didn't it? Finally, after 6 months!
Well, maybe I should have just thrown them out and left you here.
I miss you.
You too, mate. It's good to see you.
So, if you could visit 3 times a week for a month, then I should have everything I need. What you do?
I'm going to need you to move 2 meters to your left. And come forward. There we go. Perfectly boring by comparison. Mercenary work, working with unscrupulous dirtbags like Rustin.
How are things with Bobby?
Good. Yeah. We're 100% compatible. 50% of the time. Nearly got married again. Until the ninjas showed up.
So, you are together?
Together forever. Just doing our own thing. Distance is our savior. How about you and Simmons? Find a way to work that out?
Distance is our curse. All the surveillance cameras within a 2-mile radius went dark for those 2 minutes. How is that possible? Where are you going? There it is. No, that's a postal truck.
There?
No.
Why can you never find a beer truck when you need one?
It's the same truck. They just changed the signs.
Nice.
There you go. There.
2091. Earth year. 2091.
Why do I get the feeling there's a kill room in the basement?
Where is this? What's happening? No. Who the hell are you?
I was sent here 30,000 years ago to observe and record the evolution of your species, what you would call an anthropologist. My Earth name is Enoch. I am a sentient chronicom from a planet which revolves around a star in the constellation you know as Cygnus.
Yeah, we'll just go with Enoch.
Why? Why did you send them through that thing?
To fulfill a prophecy. This speaks of the future. They were needed there.
Look, there's only so much crazy talk I can take before I start shooting holes in it.
You are going to take me to whoever or whatever this year is, or your future ends now.
Damn, Fitz.
Them.
Not for long. We need to find a place to lay low for a while.
I'm taking you to the place where I sent the others.
You said that was impossible.
I'm taking you where, not when.
Who built it?
Unknown.
What a
They just
fountain.
disappeared. It had to be the same blackout technology they used at the diner.
Do we have any idea who the girl is?
We've got images from surveillance cameras.
We'll stay until we can decide what to do with her. She is no longer safe.
Why don't you just ask her? She seems to know everything else.
She gives answers in her own time. It's better not to interfere.
Hey, you sent my friends into the future. I'd call that some serious interference.
Our protocol allows for one exception. The prevention of an extinction-level event.
What?
So what happened?
Unknown.
Because you have to save them.
They're in trouble some 70 years in the future and there's nothing I can do. I'm gonna be a skeleton by the time they get here.
I may know another way.
Oh, now there's a way. What happened to no interference?
It's prophecy now.
Right.
They got this upper back.
But you have continually let me down. I don't trust you anymore.
You're demoting us?
No. I need a cleaning crew.
The future.
It's a cryo-freeze chamber.
What?
Yeah, taking the long way there. Gonna sleep for 74 years.
That is the most insane idea in our history of insane ideas.
Yep.
We can't hide you in a wall. You'll suffocate when you wake up. And if we leave you sitting around here, who knows what people or things are going to find their way in there.
He's not going to be here. I summoned a Chronicom vessel. We'll orbit a planet hidden safely away from Earth until he wakes up.
Oh, great. That's brilliant. I love you.
I know.
So I'm gonna say, like, a nice thing about this episode is, as much as I like the whole season taking place in this, like, dystopian future, it was nice to have it take place in present day and bring some levity to the show that's kind of, I feel like, has been missing the last few episodes. It was interesting to see, Fitz being taken into custody after Enoch took the rest of Team Coulson and sent them through that monolith that he was apprehended by the military. Actually, I think her name was Lieutenant Evans, and then I guess the other military guy was Lucas, and they were working for General Harrell, and then he was like had to he said like, oh, I need some books. Like he was finally he couldn't tell them what happened because of the fact that he was like they used that like whenever sonic device that kind of made everybody frozen. He lost like an hour of time, and so he basically he couldn't tell them anything. Even when they were interrogating him, he got to the point where he was so desperate that he needed to just work with the military just to find them. I mean, the military wanted to bring him to justice. He just wanted to find his friends, especially Gemma. So it was like him like sending him books and trying to work out all these calculations and probability and giving him a television just to watch soccer just so he didn't go completely insane from isolation inside of being that cell. And he was writing like all these like equations and all these like monkey faces on the wall. So it was like I was trying to like count them personally, and I was trying to keep track of like, okay, how much time was he spending inside, in this military base, because they had this whole montage of him, first he's doing push-ups and watching soccer, and then asking him to send these letters to the sports magazine as a passage of time. And I was trying to keep track of all the monkey faces he was drawing on the wall, and I thought I was like, oh, maybe he spent like a few days in there. I was completely off. The fact they said is like, oh, he spent like 6 months in there, like I never would have guessed that. And the fact that like he exhausted all probabilities, the fact that it's like, oh, they've been abducted by aliens. I just thought, well, Fitz, you're not too far off about that. The fact that they got impatient and they were gonna run away in that cell, and it was nice that Lance finally showed up to save him, and of course the sports letters were basically like coded messages to send to him in that sports magazine to come to his rescue. And it was funny how like he had to work with a guy named Rusty who was supposed to have like a helicopter to come and I guess supposedly to come to the rescue, or at least come to a diversion. But it was just like apparently because like Lance could only pay him so much that it was like funny how the helicopter just kind of crashed, but it still was enough to create a diversion that they got away in that RV. And it was like funny that it kind of shows just how inept the military are dealing with all of these like supernatural stuff when it comes to like aliens, LMDs, and anything say like related to say like Ghost Rider, the supernatural, like because it's like Fitch with the amount of resources they provided to him, the military provided for him for 6 months, he couldn't figure out like what happened to his friends and couldn't get so much of as a lead on them. But with the help of Lance and the tracking technology he got from Rusty, he was able to find them over the course of a matter of hours and went to Enoch's house. And at least like we're getting some answers, like that they got sent exactly 74 years into the future. In fact, it was part of a prophecy made by I guess what is it, like Charles like Hinton. So yeah, we see the return of Polly and Robin, who are the mother and daughter respectively of Charles Hinton, who was the Inhuman who had the power to see the future, or at least foresee people's death, who was in the episode Space Time from season 3. And so the fact that, his daughter apparently also underwent teragenesis and had similar powers, except like didn't just see, just people's death. It's like it's a little bit more advanced than that. And the vision comes to her in dreams to the point where it comes to her where she's like, just making drawings of people's futures, to the point where it's like she doesn't, he's kind of mute and he doesn't speak to anybody, and the mom said her brain is scrambled, where she doesn't even realize, that Polly's even her mother, which almost kind of feels like it kind of has like some, you almost kind of think like she's on like this, it almost makes it seems like going through pterogenesis, like kind of put her on the autism spectrum in a sense, which is kind of ironic. At least they have symptoms of the autism spectrum. That's just an observation I noticed. And I liked how, and I was pleasantly surprised by how, I guess like how willing to help Enoch was. I was surprised that, because you saw in the season 5 premiere that he was just the human. He was just wearing like human skin. Like it wasn't actually his real physical form. You can tell he got off in the shower. He would like take off his skin and his clothes, and he had a completely like full on alien form. I was shocked we didn't see that. But he's actually like far more willing to help than I would have expected to, especially considering he says like, "Oh, I'm an anthropologist. I'm really sent here to observe and not interfere, unless Robin's prophecy says otherwise." And the device that and the fact that like Fitz has become like a far edgier person, not just. And I figured like I wouldn't just attribute that to him just being in the framework, but just from like all the crap that he's been through over the last 4 seasons, and his time of being in the framework and being turned into a Hydra agent, which is the kind of the tip of the iceberg, to the point where it's like it brought out a side to him to where he was willing to grab Hunter's gun, like point it down at him and like put him down on the table, and it's like you better tell me where my friends are, or your future ends here. Like that was such like a great like action one-liner, or like kind of a good one-liner, at least for him. But it's like he told to Hunter, where he just feels like distances are a curse, and maybe he's better off being away from Gemma, because he's still. You can tell even from the beginning when he couldn't eat his food, and just when he's talking to Hunter, that he was still racked with guilt of like what kind of person he was inside of the framework, where he actually became second in command of Hydra as a result of being this like alternate scenario where he was raised under his father's thumb, and it brought out the worst in him. And Hunter reassuring him that everybody has a dark side, but when push comes to shove, you're not a cold-blooded killer, even though he wasn't completely convinced of that. But at least he Fitz seems to acknowledge, like by the, I guess like the last scene when like he's out in space and he's finally thought out a cryogenic stasis by Enoch, that he's gonna need that dark side of himself to blend in with all these like bounty hunters and all these people Cassius was gonna, I guess, everybody was gonna like bid on Daisy in this exhibition match that Fitz proposed, like, oh, they need to fight to the death. That he was gonna need that side of himself to kind of just like play the part and blend in. So at least it's like he's kind of using that. You can tell he's gonna use that to his advantage, and kind of just like it's gonna have to. Apparently, he's gonna have to find a way to kind of just, at some point, like, obviously his arc is going to have to be to cope with the fact that he has this kind of like dark side, it seems like. It was great to see Lance back. I was surprised that, and I know Adrian Palicki, I know that she's like a major cast member on The Orville on Fox, and that's why she couldn't come back for this. But the fact that like I was shocked they didn't have Lance say it's like, oh, they broke up off screen, but they were just kind of just like running into ninjas and all these on these like different missions, and saying it's like, oh, we're 100% compatible 50% of the time. Which is, it almost kind of reminded me of that line in Anchorman where he says it's like, we're, what was it, Paul Rudd talking about that fragrance where he says like, 60% of the time, it works every time. And I guess it was the fact that it's just like, you kind of get a hint of like what kind of stuff they would have been up to if that spin-off Marvel's Most Wanted with the respective actors and their characters had gotten off the ground, but it didn't get picked up, and it didn't seem like those two actors like cared much for actually being part of that project. But it was kind of nice that they just didn't have them break up off screen just because, you know, we didn't see Adrian Palicki, and so it kind of leaves the door open for at least for both of them to come back in some capacity, you know, later in the season or later seasons, depending on how long the show's going to go for. They can like get her for an episode. And like I don't know. I just really, it was just kind of nice to, and also I was kind of just like geeking out when I just realized when they said, oh, the monolith was like when Enoch said it's like it can only be opened from the other end. He doesn't know how to open it from present day. It can only be opened up from, I guess, from the year 2091. It kind of makes you wonder, like, who exactly opened it and like sucked them through. Was it like a future? Was a future version of Enoch, considering he lived long enough to be around to Thoth fits out from cryosleep in the year 2091? Was it like another member of his alien race? Was it Virgil had something to do with it? You know, I also had this fan theory that I thought like Virgil was going to be like a descendant of Charles Hinton. It turns out it wasn't, or at least as far as I know. I mean, that can still play out. I mean, it's only like 5 episodes into the new season. But it was interesting that it's like the whole like idea like Fritz like freezing himself for 70 years. It kind of reminded me of, you know, Captain America. It was kind of a similar situation to how he was frozen for basically 70 years, albeit involuntarily. Fitz is deliberately doing it, and like you said, he's taking the long way there, and it's kind of cool that he was able to get back the Icers and Daisy's gauntlets to help her control her powers and not like break her bones. We have the Max Shotgun Axe, which is like, I was wondering, it's like, I mean, like I said, you see it in the poster and to my right, so I was wondering like how he was going to get that back. So it's kind of cool that it wasn't just something that they just put on the poster. That was something he's like put into the lighthouse to, you know, kind of in storage and kind of like a time capsule of sorts for like the 70 years. So when he wakes up, you know, like, you know, the whole gang will be like guns akimbo, so to speak, and ready, kick some butt. But it kind of makes me wonder, like, I was confused because like I thought like you can see like the lighthouse, like the actual lighthouse, you know, where the station came from. It was basically a base that existed on Earth present day and survived the apocalypse when Earth was destroyed, and that's where the last of Earth's survivors lived. But at the same time, it's like I said, it made it seem like, I guess from like all those angles that were out of you see the spaceship we see this like spaceship traveling away from the lighthouse. You would think like it was a spaceship outside of Earth's orbit, and it was always, at least in the first episode, it was always like flying towards Earth, not like away from Earth. So it was just like, that's kind of like a big continuity error. I'm shocked that they would like overlook such a detail like that, the production crew. But I don't know. I guess the lighthouse is basically supposed to be, but then like there was another episode where it's just like the lighthouse is basically where Cassius's base is and where he has like gladiatorial ring. So it's like, where is the lighthouse supposed to be? Where is Cassius supposed to be stationed? Like, this is like such like carelessness on their part that I just wish they would just establish what is in this like futuristic universe that they're in right now. maybe they will, but so far I'm just like puzzled and confused as to like what's going on, and it's kind of frustrating. Um, but anyway, I thought it was pretty funny that just before Fitz got frozen, they did that callback to Empire Strikes Back when Lance jokingly said, "I loved you," and Fitz was chuckling, saying, "I know," and that was like a great use of those lines. And I'm kind of wondering if Enoch or future Enoch is going to play like a larger role in the storyline going forward. Just how exactly Fitz is going to, what role Fitz is going to play now he's in the future with the rest of the team, because apparently we're not going to get any, because apparently the next episode is not going to, episode 6 is not going to start until January 5th, and personally, I'm just I'm kind of surprised by that, just because of the fact that Monday's Christmas, and you think like all of the holiday specials will be done by now, and and also Once Upon a Time's on hiatus, so I don't know what's going on the 29th. That the show's going to be taking a 1 week hiatus, but in any case, it's only a 1 week hiatus. I mean, I'm sure, like, the show's premiere like so late that I think it's gonna run somewhat consecutively. There are not gonna be too many like breaks in between episodes, just because of that. It's going for like the full 20 something episode season, 22 I think. So it won't be a long wait to Agents of Shield, and since a bunch of shows are gonna be off this week, then maybe I can do hopefully my reaction video to the Walking Dead mid-season finale and just other videos I see on the internet. But anyway, guys, what do you think of the episode of this latest episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Do you like how it's character focused on Fitz? Like, what are your predictions going into the next week's episode? Leave your thoughts in the comments down below. If you like this video, like, share, and subscribe, and I will talk to you guys soon. Take care.